Hi, I'm Tony Gosling. I'm a Bristol-based freelance journalist, originally apprenticed at the BBC 1989, 1990 in London, and we had a lot of fun, entertaining and informing millions of Londoners at Greater London Radio, right across the city, and chasing all the other stations to the story. But I'm now really persona non grata. The channels I'm on, which were RT and Press TV, all banned in Britain now by Ofcom. My history is really looking into big international groups like the Bilderbergers, and it was so lovely to come across Wafaa Al Udaini over the last few years. And before she died on the 30th of September 2024, interviewed her several times. I would just say about her as a journalist, she was really good at unpicking the lies. She was the best I've seen at doing this, literally pulling apart what the Israelis were saying, for example, about massive attacks on hospitals, and then they blame Hamas operatives for this or whatever. Then Wafaa would say, well, the names you've given, some of them are dead. And look at these other ones, they're not even in the country. So she would do the very forensic, instant journalism that if Wafaa was allowed to be on one of the big networks, she would be a superstar for informing us. But of course, she was never allowed to do that sort of thing. She also we offered her some cash. We haven't got a lot, but she refused it. She didn't want any money. So the other thing, of course, is she knew the risk she was taking. She was very clear that at some point it would be very, very easy for her, but she didn't care. She went on and just did the reporting in the knowledge that it may be that she was killed. And of course she was on the 30th of September 2024 along with her family as part of this genocide. Now, I also just like to say, as an ex-mainstream media person myself, how much I understand the London press is complicit in this genocide. Uh, in several ways. They don't like to call it genocide. They feel it's a balance between the Israeli lies and what's really going on. They have to have a balance between the two. Although, as Jeremy Paxman, the famous British journalist on the BBC Newsnight, he said, how can you have a balance between truth and lies? He understood that, and of course you can't. So it was, it's unprecedented to see the media complicit. What the London media do is they float Israeli lies and accusations about certain journalists in Gaza, etc., working for Hamas. And if they get away with that, and if these idiots in London just simply report it as they so often do, uncritically, those journalists are then targeted and often killed almost immediately afterwards. This has happened several times. Also important to say, the history of what's happening now is totally unprecedented. We've had more journalists killed, along with Wafaa, in Gaza than ever in human history. In fact, just in this one conflict, more journalists have been killed than any major war for the previous 150 years, including 2 world wars. The Israelis are arrogantly trying to cover up the evidence by killing journalists. And they're also relying on their friends in the Western media to help cover up their crimes. So that's why I think the London media is particularly complicit. We do an independent show here in Bristol in the UK. And, we're just trying to keep journalism alive, because it's not just in Gaza that journalists are being killed. It is in the West, in particularly Europe and the United States, that journalism itself as a profession is being strangled. So lots of love to all those that knew Wafaa, and it's such a sad loss, but great that people there are remembering it and remembering her. God bless you all.